Our next guest is the host of a very popular radio show on ESPN Radio here in San Diego called Lunch and Learn Radio. I also call him the most interesting man in San Diego. Please welcome Eran Sinai. Eran, how you doing, sir?
Great, Derek. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Now, you're doing your radio show today.
I do.
You've got some interesting stuff, I'm sure, to tell people. You always do. That's why it's so popular. Tell us something that's going to be on your radio show today.
Well, some crazy trivia. I love trivia. So I bring some crazy trivia. I always have those funny, irrelevant, or could be identity theft, could be stories. Today I'll give you a hint. For example, I'm going to talk about some identity theft, but the person that actually got caught, you know how he got caught?
How?
He fell asleep in the victim's house, and the
Whoa.
police came to arrest him. They found him sleeping on the bed as he was hacking into the computer, and he said he was just tired, so he fell asleep.
Imagine how tired you have to be to fall asleep during
On
a robbery.
the job. Anyway,
Amazing. Great
so
stuff.
that's one of the stuff.
Well, also, a quick background on you, Eran. Give us your 30-second bio.
Well, I was born in Israel many years ago. Used to be young and beautiful. I'm only beautiful. Went through, like every good Israeli, went through the military service in 1982, went through the Lebanon War, had some history of injury there. From here to there, got here, 88, worked for the government of Israel, Ministry of Defense, some work with the American government, and somehow got into what I'm doing now, which is credit, which is banking, which is dealing with money, bankruptcies, and identity theft.
It's crazy what's happening. I mean, they've broken into the IRS.
Yep.
They've gotten into pretty much anywhere they want to get into. It doesn't seem like anything is off limits to these hackers today, Eran.
Absolutely. I mean, they broke into the Pentagon a few weeks ago. The Pentagon system was shut down for 2 weeks, and obviously they blamed the Chinese for hacking into the Pentagon system.
Right.
And getting 5,000 people's information. Before that, the Office of Personnel Management, they stole millions and tens of millions of people's data. So it's unavoidable.
And that tens of millions, the Office of Personnel Management, I think I heard you talking about that on your radio show.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of different types of information that we're
Correct.
taking, but a lot of really detailed stuff. So identity theft on the forefront, something you're working to help people learn how to insulate themselves as much as possible from with this new company that you've created. It's called
ID Theft Recovery.
ID Theft Recovery.
IDR, yes.
IDR,
ID Theft
that's what it is.
Recovery, which we provide insurance and recovery. You try to be protected. It's kind of driving a car. You can avoid an accident. You can leave it in your parking lot and come back and find it damaged. The question is what kind of insurance you have. Can that insurance help you recover from the damage as fast and efficient as possible?
Right.
So that's what we do.
And a lot of the other companies out there, they're not really talking about the recovery
That's correct.
aspect, which is where you really have problems.
That's correct.
After the identity theft, that's when
That's
you
right.
really need help.
That's correct.
So that's pretty neat that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Where can people go to find out more information about that product?
They can go on our website, idrprotect.com, IDR Protect. And a little secret, in September, we're launching a new 3-platform services, which you're going to get email monitoring, cyber monitoring, social security tracing, a lot of information that nobody else out there has yet. And it's going to be much cheaper than anyone out there in the world. So stay tuned for that. We will let you know what the new link is going to be.
Okay, idrprotect.com.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic stuff. And while I have you here, Ron, I have to ask you questions about money.
Okay.
Specifically, because I think that a lot of people don't understand money in general. Like, where does it come from? How does it have any value? All that stuff. So I'm going to ask you this question, Ron, because I know you know the answer. How does money really work?
Okay, well, there are 2 ways money is created in the economy. One is called the quantitative easing of money, which is when bank takes money from the central bank, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to focus on the formula, how money is created when, let's say, the government or the Federal Reserve decides that they need to put money into the economy.
Okay.
Okay? So people can loan money from banks so we can infuse the economy with money. So let's say the bank, the Federal Reserve says, okay, we're going to buy $100 worth of government bonds. So it's not like somebody walk with a suitcase of $100, right? They basically, what they do, throughout a credit transaction in the computer, $100 go to the bank. The bank has reserve requirement, which is money they need to keep in their vaults for emergency in cash, which is, let's say, 10%.
Okay.
Okay. So now the Federal Reserve gave the banks $100. Okay, the $100, 10 of it stays in the safe. 90 goes out to the people. Okay, they loan the money.
Okay.
So now I got $90 and I come here and I buy a watch. Okay, I gave you the money for the watch, the $90. What would you do with the money at the end of the day? Deposit that in the bank.
Right.
Right. So the bank, remember, 10% is cash reserve. They'll keep $9 of that, and 81 will be available again to loan.
Interesting.
Okay, so 81 and so on and so on. So from a $100 bill, we've created almost $990 of thin air of money.
Huh.
So that's really how money works. So if you take all the debt, all the money that you can find in any person in the United States, all the money they can find in the wallets, in the bank accounts, in cash, there won't be enough money to pay the debt that we have.
Is that how it's supposed to work? Because it sounds a little a little kooky. Like
It is.
It doesn't seem like that would be the smartest way to go about it.
You know, it's always the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So in the U.S. we have,
I know the answer to that question. By
you
the way.
do?
Yeah.
What is it?
The chicken.
Why is that?
Because you can't get an egg without a chicken.
But where did the chicken come?
I'm just messing with you.
But so take the total debt is over $11 trillion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Student loans is 1.2 billion, which is an enormous amount. Obviously, 8 trillion are mortgages. 800 million, is credit card debt. Now, in the 50s, do you know how much credit card debt was in the country?
Credit card debt in the 50s?
Yeah.
Very little.
Zero.
None.
None.
Okay.
Right? Now, people say the more credit card debt, the more credit card we have, we put money in the economy, that infuse the economy, people buy things. So it's kind of helping the economy to have that debt. But the question is always, is that debt is really to buy and infuse the economy, or people using that because they can't afford to keep up with the standard of living and they use it to pay their own debt? So it's a big question that economists, much smarter than I am, still argue what comes first. Is it the money created through credit card debt helping, or is it creating more even debt, which means we're never going to have no debt. The
Right.
more debt, the more demand, the more demand, the more debt. And that's how
Wow.
it works.
So is that kind of like the sad ending to the money story? That like we're never going to get rid of this debt?
Personally,
Yeah.
not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime.
Not that I think.
And when you hear a number like 19 trillion, which is basically what the country owes, what goes through your mind? Because I know you can fathom the size of a number like that. Does that seem like completely insurmountable?
You know what? I don't think about it because I know that there's nothing we can do about it. We can each do our own job, manage our money properly.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But this is not something that we will ever be able to put our hands on and say, okay, this is the plan and this is how we're going to get rid of it. Not happening.
It's just too much.
Not happening.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I had to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things where you hear presidential candidates say, "Oh, we want to get into the debt, we want to get into the debt," but it just seems to be spiraling out of control. I think it's $1 million a minute or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's-
Something just
It
crazy.
is. It is unfathomable.
Well, we may not be able to necessarily control what the nation's debt, but we can certainly protect ourselves.
Correct.
And we can certainly at least attempt to manage our own debt situation and not contribute to the situation. So you can protect yourselves by going to idrprotect.com. Find out the service they provide. Tell us how much that costs around for one person to get coverage for themselves.
There are different coverages, but it goes as low as $4.99, with which you get $50,000 insurance for legal fees reimbursement, $50,000 if money is stolen from your account, $50,000 travel expense. You get up to $5,000 child care reimbursement or elder care reimbursement, and you get up to $2,000 lost wages in the event your identity has been stolen.
So you have all that insurance underneath all of the protective
Correct.
stuff. Fantastic stuff. idrprotect.com. Aran Sinai, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for
really
having me.
appreciate your time. Check out his show, ESPN Radio, Lunch and Learn Radio at noon, weekdays, Monday and Wednesday. I guarantee it'll make you smarter than everyone else. Stick around for more commercial-free content right here on Smarter San Diego TV.